This is Joe from Asphalt Valentine. You're listening to Thunder Underground.
Welcome to episode 254 of the Thunder Underground podcast. Trent and Jason here. And this week we've got a great one because we've got Joe Flynt of Asphalt Valentine joining us. Got an interview here with him coming up, talking about their brand new album that's coming out here in just about a week and a half. So we're going to be getting into that here in just a bit. But as always, what do we got to do? Tell them about sponsors. MedFarm and DEB Concerts, longtime sponsors of this podcast, and we greatly appreciate it. MedFarm is a dispensary located here in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma at 24683 East Highway 51. They're right off the highway. You can't miss them. Get in there and check them out because they've got a great selection. And on top of that, they're always running specials. If you follow them on Facebook at MedFarm, that's PHARM, or Instagram at MedFarmOK, you won't miss any of those specials. You can also get on their website, medfarmok.com, or check them out on leafly.com to see all their products. And if you get in there and tell them, mention our name, tell them you heard about them here, or just say Thunder Underground, they'll give you 10% off your order, which is very cool. They've also got a doctor on site every Friday and Saturday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. And on top of all that, their slogan is Cannabis with a Cause, and they donate 30% of their profits to go to build no-kill animal shelter.
Hell yeah.
That's awesome. They are well on the way because they've already got a building on some land and they're getting it set up to go. So that should be here sometime in 2020. So we'll let you know all about it because that is not cool. That is badass.
Right.
Yeah, that's amazing. So very glad to see that coming. And thanks as always to MedFarm. DEB Concerts is a promoter right here in Tulsa, Oklahoma that brings a hell of a lot of great shows to downtown Tulsa at the Ideal Ballroom. And now the BOK Center as well. They had a show there last year with Snoop Dogg and Nelly. And they've got another one coming here this year that they're going to announce pretty soon. So be on the lookout for that. And that one will be a rock show that should probably tie into what you're used to from DEB at the Ideal. But they bring in a lot of great acts like Sebastian Bach, Saxon, Last in Line, Junkyard, Kicks, LA Guns, Slaughter, Winger, Warrant. And they're branching out slightly. And now they're bringing in Buck Cherry.
Right.
Yeah, a little bit. You know, Buck Cherry fits in the mold of those bands, but they're also a modern band. So very cool to see that happening. And tickets, from what we can tell, are going fast because I know Grind and Fist of Rage both sold out of their tickets. And if you're listening to this, like, right when it drops, you've got a little bit of time because we have a giveaway going on this week on Facebook. But it ends at 12 p.m. on Thursday. So you've only got really a couple hours if you're only hearing this Thursday morning. So, but anyway, if you do not get a chance to get into that contest, get on debconcerts.com, stubwire, or you could buy them at the door, but that's not guaranteed on this. So
exactly.
So get your tickets ahead of time. Fist of Rage and Grind are opening the show. Both of them are excellent, so you want to get there early. Both great live bands, and they've both been on this podcast multiple times. And Eddie Trunk, as always, is hosting that show. And yeah, DEB Concerts has also booked all the bands for the Roadhouse stage at Rocklahoma 2020. This is their second year booking all the bands. This year they've got a pre-party night, Thursday night, that features Warrant, Bullet Boys, and Hurricane Alice. And in the other 3 days feature John Five and the Creatures, Liliac, and Lynch Mob as the headliners for each night. And there's a slew of other bands. You like that?
A slew.
Yeah, I haven't ever said that when I'm talking about bands on this podcast. I finally got to say slew.
Slew.
Yeah. Anyway, get online. Get on rocklahoma.com or debconcerts.com to see all the rest of that slew of bands that'll be there on the Roadhouse stage.
You just wanted to say it again, motherfucker.
Hey, it's just part of the vernacular now.
You know what? That's probably the first time vernacular's been said on this podcast.
That's right. But yeah, all that great stuff. Like I said, debconcerts.com is where you can find it all out. And of course, we love them. So thanks, as always, to DEB Concerts. All right, so we're going to talk about a few things and play some music. But do you want to jump into some music first?
Let's do that. Let's kick it off.
Okay. Here, a few weeks ago, we had on Tommy Erickson from Slumlord Radio. And I bring that up because, well, for one, because Slumlord Radio is awesome.
No, they kick ass.
And you need to check that episode out if you have not. But also because Slumlord Radio is on White Elephant Records. And White Elephant Records also has another band called Overdrive Orchestra. And we're going to play that for you right now. This is their song called HCBM.
Do this alone. Feel me, I'll be trembling on my own. I will run to her like a child runs home for curfew. I will worship her, but will she worship me? Fever, rising temperature. Lord, I need her if I'm to ravage this world. I will run to her like a child runs home for curfew. I will worship her, but will she worship me? I will see her in the after hour. I won't leave her till the morning I will run to her like a child runs home for curfew. I will worship her, but will she worship me?
HCBM from the brand new album Electric Mind from Overdrive Orchestra. That album just came out this month. So get on to wherever you check out music and check out Overdrive Orchestra. They're out of Michigan as well, kind of like our buddies in Slumlord Radio. And I mean, that was very cool because it's pretty awesome groove. It's a little bit of psychedelic kind of stuff going on, and the vocals are kind of unique as well. I really dug that.
Great tune. Great tune.
Yeah. So get on there, check them out. They're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all the social medias. Tell them that Thunder Underground sent you. Where do we start?
I don't know, man. There's so much, and there's probably going to be shit that we forget.
Well, yeah, they're
That
definitely.
we can just cover it because there's so much going on. So
Because we didn't even write this down.
yeah, it's like I don't know.
You remember like last
Pick
week?
a few things and let's just go with it. Fuck it. I don't know.
Well, yeah, the last couple of weeks there's been like basically all of January. It seemed like every week there's tours announced, and like they're like it
Yeah.
seemed like these PR or whoever's, putting together these tours, like, they all seem to drop the same day each week or whatever. Because, last week we talked about several, and then now a few more things got announced. This week, the most important thing that was announced is that Faith No More is touring America for the first time in quite a while.
Are you going to that?
I'm planning on it. I can't guarantee that I'll be able to, but they are going to do 3 dates in Texas in August, so hopefully I can hit one of those.
There you go.
They've got Houston, Austin, and Dallas.
Are you going to leave after Faith No More?
Probably.
Okay.
But it's like I've seen Korn live, and they're good live.
Oh, they're great live.
Yeah.
But I get you. You're such a Faith No More homer.
Yeah, and I just don't care. I wouldn't go see Korn if they were in Tulsa, unless it was free.
I get that.
But I'm not saying that negatively about them. But you know what I mean? It was announced, and the thing listed it as a co-headline tour, so I don't know if that means they're going to, like, flop nights or what. But to me, even though as much as I love Faith No More and as important as they are, it's like I would still assume that Korn is the closer.
Yeah,
It would just make the most sense,
Yeah, that would be the best. That would be the best route to take, I think.
Yeah, because your mainstream fans are going to be there for Korn anyway.
Yeah, but I think it's so cool. It's Korn, Faith No More, Helmet.
Well, Helmet's on the second half of the tour. The first half.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
The first half is Scars on Broadway, which they're playing the Texas dates, which I'm happier about anyway, because I've never seen them in the type of band I never really thought I would be able to see.
Yeah.
But Helmet, I mean, that's amazing that they're on this tour.
Yeah,
because they deserve something like this.
Yeah, they do deserve something like that, and it's just a smart lineup. It's a smart tour.
68's also, I think, on all the dates.
Yeah, it's something that it's the kind of thing that should have been done a long time ago.
Yeah,
that's kind of how I look at it. None of this Korn and Breaking Benjamin or whatever the stupid shit. Fuck it. I mean, let's get some legit shit going on here. And so to see this is like, okay, all right, now this is something that we can get behind.
Yeah. And it's cool, too, because, if Faith No More was just touring by themselves, they'd be playing theaters.
Yeah.
And now this puts it into a bigger venue.
Totally.
So, very glad to see that happening. It's got a decent amount of dates. I think it was close to 30 dates, so you should be able to find something within driving distance of wherever you're at.
Of course.
And then Jason opened his beer to celebrate the fact that recently, when I say recently, I mean 1 episode ago. Sorry, I had to think here for a second. 253, we had on Brian Tishy talking about Rush, for a good 20-some minutes, and then we talked about some other stuff for the rest of it. But the point being is that Brian Tishy has a band called A Farewell to Kings that is a long-standing Rush tribute band that he does. And that parlays into the fact that Primus just announced that they are doing a tribute, or is it called a tribute to Kings?
Yes, a tribute to Kings.
Yeah.
It's a whole tour.
And they're doing the album A Farewell to Kings in its entirety.
Right.
And then as well as they'll be playing Primus songs as well.
Mm-hmm.
After that, I'm sure, or before, I don't know which. But regardless, the fact that they're, you can find the press release and read it. Les Claypool talks about the fact that that's the first Rush album he ever got and heard. And I guess all 3 of them, it's like their favorite album of Rush. And he said, I can't remember what he said, his favorite songs on that, whatever. So it's a kind of a cool concept. And if there's a band out there that's just a random band out there that can pull this shit off, it is Primus.
Oh, totally. There's no way they can't do it. Yeah. And the Sword is opening up. The Sword are back. That's fucking great.
Yeah, that is very cool.
And we've had Kyle Shutt of the Sword on this podcast before.
Right. But that's another one. They're only doing half the tour. Someone else. Who was the other person? The other person, another band?
The other person. I don't know.
It was someone else notable, but I don't think it's someone we love as much as the Sword.
No.
But yeah, Battles is also on that whole tour, I think.
Gotcha.
I think the closest it's coming to us is Dallas, so I don't know if it's something that'll line up that we can make or not, but hopefully. And what else? There was another tour.
The Megadeth Lamb of God. Did we talk about that the last
we talked about that last
Okay. Well, I'm going to that. Fuck it. And then what else has been? I know there's been more. I mean, there's been so much.
I feel like there was another. Oh, the KK Priest thing.
KK Priest. KK's Priest with him and Les Binks and Ripper Owens.
I mean, that's a cool idea, really, in a way, because it's not, he's got a vocalist and a drummer from the band.
Mm-hmm.
that he was in with. So it's not like he's just pulling guys out at random.
Yeah.
I mean, he played with both of them, Wall and Priest. So,
and I think, I know we're kind of splitting hairs here. I know it's kind of a whole jacking off spiders thing. We're getting real minute. But the fact that he is doing KK's Priest instead of KK Downing's Judas Priest or whatever the shit.
Yeah.
That's super smart because that's where you can't touch that.
Yeah.
In a legal sense, I don't think. So that's probably pretty smart.
Yeah.
And
I mean, the fact that it's Ripper, and I mean, even if people are fans of the Ripper albums or not.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy's fucking fantastic. Mm-hmm. He's an amazing vocalist. So,
yep.
Seeing him, perform all the Priest songs live, I mean, if that's, hopefully that comes within here, within Dallas or something. Mm-hmm. I would love to see that. Because it's going to be in clubs, so it'll be cool as hell.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think Europe and England, the UK will eat that up way more than the US because
Priest is probably touring anyway, right?
Yeah, and, again, like I've always said, the U.S., when it comes to that on a whole, they suck. It's interesting, very interesting pairing, and it should do pretty good.
And the fact that, I don't know that the first place I saw it was Mitch LaFon posted about it. Mm-hmm. And he put something about recording. I don't know if they mentioned in the thing that they are going to release something, because he said, would you rather hear them do, reimagine Priest songs or do original stuff? So I would love it if they do original stuff.
I'd want them to do original stuff.
Yeah, because then they could go out there, they could put out an album, go on tour, play 4 or 5 songs from that album, and play the rest of the show Priest songs.
The Priest songs are already done. We don't need them re-recorded.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Good point. Well, another tour that hasn't been announced but is all over the place is this Rock Never Stops style lineup.
Yeah, it's like Rat, Skid Row, Tom Kiefer, Great White, Lillian Axe.
Oh, Lillian Axe?
Fucking Slick Toxic, Tyketo, Warrant.
Fuck, I wish.
I
thought you were being serious for a second now.
Bo Nasty.
God dang, that'd be amazing.
Yeah, fucking Shark Island, Little Caesar.
Denaro,
I think, is on there.
Oh, well, then I'm traveling across the country.
I mean, it's a whole, it's going to be like 3 stages. Okay, just kidding. No, it's really, the rumor for sure, for real, is Rat, Skid Row, Tom Kiefer,
and then
Jack Russell and Slaughter.
Well, no, it said Slaughter. The rumor was
that's
Slaughter,
right.
And then now Mitch LaFon says that he reported that supposedly Slaughter backed out of it,
really?
And that Jack Russell's Great White.
It's still in the rumor stage.
Yeah.
So, do with that what you will.
So here's my comment is this will be coming to the Zoo Amphitheater in Oklahoma City because last week the Zoo Amp said classic heavy metal announcement
you're right.
On February 24th.
Boy, you're good.
And then yesterday...
I didn't even think about that.
And then yesterday they said that this announcement will be made on February 24th of this tour.
Yep.
So if that's the day that Zoo Amp is announcing... then that's this tour.
Yep, you're right. Like before we knew this rumor, you kind of thought it maybe Priest.
Yeah, I was hoping.
But you're right. And guess what? I won't go. Sorry.
I mean, I'll probably go. It's Oklahoma City. It's not that far.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I've seen all that stuff a million times over.
Yeah.
Like if it was coming to the IDL Ballroom or something, yes.
Yeah.
Like if one of those bands was, yes. But I'm not gonna. I don't know.
I mean, the great thing about it is you can go to the thing and, you can leave by like 9 because who gives a fuck about Stephen Pearcy's fake rat?
I mean, yes. And that's the main thing. It's like, I'm not going to Oklahoma City for that.
I'm like,
we saw Stephen Pearcy solo at the Chameleon Room.
I mean, he was good.
That was great. And we got to meet him and he was awesome. I'm good.
But I'm like, this should be called Stephen Pearcy's Rat.
Yeah, I agree.
Which I understand.
But
that's getting into semantics as well. Like, who owns the name?
Warren DeMartini and all those guys, they left themselves, I think, so...
Well, I mean, that's a good point.
I don't know. Well, again, we're splitting hairs. I don't know.
I'm never running around saying that Quiet Riot should change their name, so, I mean, whatever.
Yeah.
But it just annoys me, like it does a lot of people. I'm like, when you've got everybody there, that you could have Stephen Pearcy, Juan, Blotzer, and DeMartini, and then you had Carlos.
Yeah.
Cavazzo, or however fucking say his last name.
Carlos Cavazzo.
Cavazzo, yeah. And then you've got a fucking lineup, and it's amazing. But anyway.
You know what I'm excited about? I got tickets for Sepultura, Crowbar, and Sacred Reich.
Oh, you did get tickets?
Yes, I did that, because they're pretty cheap.
Okay.
So, I was like, fuck it, I'm doing it. We're going to see Crowbar and Sacred Reich, and then we can drive back home. I don't give a shit. I mean, I'm going to see Sepultura, don't get me wrong, but those are the two bands I want to see, Sacred Reich and Crowbar.
I thought you always wanted to see Sepultura with...
and I do.
What's his name?
I'm back and forth with
Derek Green.
Yes, because, you know, what I've heard from this new record is really cool. Some of the stuff from Alex or whatever was cool. But like the album or two, like right after Max left was a little weird. So, but I'm definitely gonna stick around.
Yeah.
You know, that I make it through the whole set, I don't know. But all I know is Crowbar is gonna be there, and that's gonna be fucking amazing.
Yeah.
So I'm checking that shit out for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, what else we got? We got Ozzy.
Yeah, what do you think about... we knew that would kind of happen, right?
Yeah.
So...
Keeps announcing tours, cancel them, announcing them, cancel them.
And it's like, I don't think... You know, and I've heard this on Eddie Trunk, and I've heard this here and there, and I'm not trying to just copy off of what they say, but I agree with the main point is he doesn't owe anybody anything.
All right.
You know, he's done so much. He's up there in years. He's got health problems. Go take care of yourself.
Yeah.
You know, we're good.
Yeah.
But, you know, a plus is everything that we've heard of this new album is pretty cool so far.
Yeah.
And it comes out this Friday. So I'm very excited about that.
Right. And we talked about that when we heard the first song late last year and said this is the first time
we've been excited. Yes. Yeah, exactly. And so, you know, and if this is kind of like a send-off, you know, present to the fans, then I'm really looking forward to this album. And, you know, no, I have nothing bad to say about any of this whole thing.
Yeah.
So that's where I stand on that.
Yeah. I mean, there's no need to tour, like, if it's going to cause you fucking problem. But at the same time, it's like he could be one of those people that, like, he's just more comfortable when he's doing that kind of thing than sitting around at home or whatever.
Yep.
I mean, like, you know, Mick Mars made that statement years ago that the best he feels is when he's on stage because he can forget about the way he feels for a couple hours, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, totally. So, you know, and if he can, you know, I mean, fuck, if the Rolling Stones can do it, anyone can.
No shit.
And if he can get treatment and get to the point where he can do it, hey, more power to him. But if not, that's fine, you know?
Speaking of the Rolling Stones, I saw a shirt that I think you need to get.
Okay.
You know our favorite thing with the Facebook shirts?
Oh, geez.
We haven't talked about this in like a year.
Yeah, no, because you haven't seen those in a while. They kind of
I still see them.
Waned in popularity.
Not as well. I think they probably got shut down, which is
what should be happening.
But we're talking about all the fucking Facebook ads for the obviously Photoshop shirt of some, you know, celebrity holding a T-shirt with like, or wearing a T-shirt, which is, you know, usually, and then it crosses like a sports team and a artist or, you know, fucking Harlequin.
Yeah,
and
like Eddie wearing a fucking Astros hat or some dumb shit.
Yeah. Or like Kathy Bates from Misery wearing a Montreal Expos jersey. You know, just random shit. Well, there's now one. There's a bunch of them for, you know, Baby Yoda.
Oh,
but
fuck.
There's a Baby Yoda one where he's got, you know, tongue logo on him. And then above him, this is the best part of the whole shirt. Whoever fucking made this thing. Instead of it saying the Rolling Stones, it says Rolling Stone in the magazine font. Like they took the Rolling Stone font and put it at the top of the shirt.
Fucking idiots.
To promote Baby Yoda with the Rolling Stones logo.
Yeah, it was probably a fucking...
It was made in like Indonesia or something.
Yeah, it was probably an Indonesian fucking millennial.
Right. But anyway, I should have sent it to you. It's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, I'd like to see that.
Okay.
Yeah, send that over.
All right. I've seen it several times in the last few days.
Oh my God.
Well, anything else before we jump into some Asphalt Valentine?
I think we're good. Let's hit the asphalt.
Good way to put it.
Well, you know.
And you can hit the asphalt on the twisted road. See, all kinds of puns here. Brand new album from Asphalt Valentine comes out February 28th. And it's called Twisted Road. And right now we're going to play the lead single for that, which is the title track, Twisted Road.
Bang your feet up on the ceiling. Break the shell of disbelieving. Long goes in the feeling that you see that we've been saying. I've been down this road too many times to say. I've been down twisted road of pain. An old letter in a box. You thought it's all but lost, and it's been so long. We're right back where we started from. I've been down this road too many times to say. I've been down twisted road of pain. Down. It's the path we take, and you're far from home. Set your sights out now, baby, 'cause nothing's set in stone. I've been down this road too many times to say. I've been down twisted road of pain. I've been down this road too many times to say. I've been down twisted road of pain. Down.
Twisted Road, the brand new song from the forthcoming album of the same name, Twisted Road, comes out February 28th from Asphalt Valentine. Some great melodic hard rock. These guys have another album and an EP, but it's been a few years since the EP came out and over 10 years since their album came out. So get on there and check out some of that stuff. They've got a lot of great music, and I'm pretty sure that this album will be no different. You know what I think that would be a good touring band or pairing for this band? The New Roses.
Oh, okay.
'Cause
You know what? I get that.
Yeah, it's kind of along the
Nice.
same kind of vein, you know?
Yes, yes. You know, and yeah, I didn't think about that when we played the song, but now that you said that, I totally get that.
Yeah. Which, by the way, if you're not familiar with the New Roses, check them out. They were, I don't remember what number, but they were on our top 19 of 2019 albums list. Right?
Yeah, they're amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, they've got a couple great albums out, so check them out.
Yeah, they're better than anything you listen to.
And they're out of Germany, but they sound like they're out of Georgia, just like Asphalt Valentine. But yeah, so Asphalt Valentine is out of Georgia, and hopefully we'll see more from them this year, and you'll hear about it here in this interview. So let's just jump into it. Here's Joe Flynt, lead vocalist for Asphalt Valentine. You got Twisted Road coming out here at the end of the month. This is several years in the making because it's been, about 6 years since your last EP? Like, talk about the downtime and why it took this long to come back.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we did the EP back in 2014, and after that, you know, we had toured a little bit and played some shows, but you know, we went through some lineup changes and some people had moved away. So whenever you go through that as a band, it takes a minute to get caught back up with getting new members back in the band. And so we were just kind of on a lull for a little while. You know, we weren't doing as much touring, and we were just kind of losing sight of you know, why we really decided to be in a band. But, you know, it wasn't really up until this last year that we really went full force into making this record, and we just put everything we had into it. So we're really excited, and it's just been too long, and we can't be more excited that we have this coming out in February.
Are you guys looking at making this kind of like a full-time thing now again? Or as much as you can, I guess?
Yeah, as much as we can, for sure. You know, with touring, you kind of got to dip your toes back in a little bit because, you know, you're not going to come out of the gates getting all those big, show amounts and guarantees and things like that. So you got to kind of go in and probably lose a little bit of money here and there as you go through and build the following back up. For us, it's kind of a reemergence and a rebranding because, you know, while we've been together for a long time, like you said, we had a bit of a lull and we haven't really been out there. So, but we know how to do it and we've done it before. So we're excited to get back in and you know, whatever shows that become available, you know, we're gung ho.
We've got, you know, the Twisted Road title track out and the Only as well. Like, what could fans expect from this album that may differ from your guys' earlier work?
Well, I would say it's a little bit more of a, you know, mature sound. When we started out, we were, not to be cliche, but it was a little bit more sex, drugs, rock and roll. Our first record, right. We were out in, you know, 2009. And, you know, I was in my 20s and, you know, back then it was just a lot different for us. And, you know, as we all, you know, grow up and we develop our sound, I mean, we still have a harder edge to us. So, you're still going to have that heavy drum, that heavy bass, a lot of loud guitars. And, so I would still expect a lot of that. And, you know, we're going to do a little bit more on the slower sides and do some more melodic stuff as well. So I think there's going to be a little bit of everything in there for somebody. So if you're into metal, I think you'll like it. If you're into punk, there's going to be some stuff there for you. And if you're into really mainstream rock, then we got some of that in there for you.
You said 2018 was kind of when you guys got back together to start doing this. Was all these songs written since then, or any of these songs that you've had around for a while?
Well, yeah, we we've had a lot of the songs kind of written in one form or another. They weren't what they are going to be on the record. So, we always wrote. I've been writing for years, so I can go back in my catalog and pick things out that I hadn't listened to for years and say, I'll grab pieces from one song, pieces from another song, and kind of create a whole new thing. So there was part of that with writing this record, and then some of it was all brand new. Because when we first did this, we were still just going to kind of release a single here and there. And then when we decided to do a little bit more than that, we were just going to really just do another EP. But, when we called our label, Bill over at High Ball, we had worked with him on the first record. We just kind of got to talking, and, we felt that, while a lot of the bands are going back to the EPs and the singles and things like that, we really wanted to break away from that and do something that, and go back to the full-length record. And I think a lot of people really enjoy that. They want to buy the CDs. I know there's still a lot of people downloading and streaming music, but there's still a good market out there for people who want that full-length record. They want to buy the CD. They want to touch it and open it up and smell the ink and look at the pictures and things like that. So, that was the direction we wanted to go with that. So we did have to write a little bit more new stuff for this one.
Well, what's your guys' writing process like? Do you put everything together and then everybody kind of add their parts, or is it a collective effort, or does it kind of vary by song?
Yeah, well, it varies by song. For the most part, how it comes is I have a studio here in my house, and I'll do most of the songwriting. So I can, at my leisure, I got, a riff stuck in my head. I'll come down and work it out. And, I'll pretty much get the song to where it's presentable to the rest of the guys. But everybody, puts their take on it, and we change a lot of parts that aren't working. So it is a collective effort in that standpoint. But for the most part, it really comes from me. I would say for about 80% of the songs, and then the others come from we're just in practice jamming, and one of the guitar players will just bust out a riff they've never played before, and we all just start coming up with something that we've never done before, and that's fun too.
Well, I noticed you guys said that you self-produced this. Is that something that the band wanted to do as a whole, to just kind of keep it in-house, or was it just kind of a thing of that's just the way it worked out?
Well, we have a full recording studio where we practice.
Okay.
We practice over at our bass player's house, and we got really good gear. And we consider ourselves very lucky because we've been together for over 15 years. So over the 15 years, we have collected a lot of gear to record with, and it sounds really good. So we are able to get in there and spend more time. We'll record a song, and then we can take a step back from it and listen to it and figure out what's working and what's not working with the song. So in that aspect, we're very lucky, as opposed to having to go into a studio and, what you're paying for is what you got to knock out right then.
Right.
So that's kind of what we wanted to do. I'm not sure we'll do that so much for the next record, but we'll still utilize the studio to do all the pre-production. So when we go in, we've already recorded it, and then we can go into another studio if we want. We've worked with the same engineer and mixer, Andy Riley, for years, and he does a fantastic job, and he's got a great sounding studio as well. So it may be something that we go in and do that next time.
Is that the same way you guys did Strip Rock and Roll and the EP as well?
Well, Strip Rock Roll was a little bit different. We did that one at several different locations. So it was kind of a mismatch. With the EP for End of the Red, we did do that at a studio. My brother-in-law at the time, he was in a band. I don't know if you remember the band Zebrahead.
Oh yeah.
They had a hit in the 90s. Playmate of the Year, and so he was my brother-in-law. He had a nice studio at his house, and we did all that recording over there. At least for the guitars and stuff. We did the drums over at another studio, and the engineer over there was Mike Froge, and he was the drummer for Black Label Society for a while. So we felt that between the two, we had a pretty good, studio experience between the two. And then, of course, we send everything over to our engineer, Andy Riley, who just does a fantastic job. So we've done a little bit different each time.
Okay. Well, you kind of mentioned, it's been 15 years since you guys started, and the rock and roll landscape's kind of changed a lot since then. It seems like your guys' style of music might be a little bit more accessible now than it was in 2005, but also rock as a whole has kind of probably declined since then as well. I mean, does that worry you, or do you not care and it's just we're going out and doing this, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't?
I would say that the latter part of it is exactly the way we feel about it, because, we're going to continue to make music and write what we want to write, and we're going to put it out there, and we're going to make sure that it sounds good before we put it out. Obviously, we hope that everybody likes it and it takes on. I mean, we don't want to be spending a lot of money on making records that nobody wants to buy, but at the end of the day, like I said, we've been together for so many years. While most bands at this point have probably broken up or moved on to different things because it wasn't working, we've never done that. For us, it was just, it's the chemistry with us. We love what we're doing. We love the songs that we write together. So it wasn't really an option to go do anything else for us. So, no, it doesn't really worry me. Do we want it to take off? Absolutely. So we're going to put our best foot forward and hope that happens.
Well, what is your relationship with High Vol Music like? How's that been working as well for you?
Oh, it's been great. I mean, like I said, we have worked with Bill on the first record. His label at that time was Shavis Records. So we did that on the first one. We didn't work with them on the second one, and it wasn't anything that we had an ill feelings towards each other. It just, we just decided we wanted to try to do things on our own, and we realized that wasn't the way to do things. And so, as we've grown as a band, he's grown as a label as well. And he has really figured some things out, and he's got a great staff around him. And, he's got, some really good bands on the roster, with Every Mother's Nightmare. He just signed Ron Keel as well. So, we're really hoping that we can team up with those guys and go play some shows together, because I think it'll be a really good package.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned kind of doing it yourself, and a lot of bands have kind of shifted that way in recent times. Was it just something that, was it like getting in over your head, or what was the deal with that?
Well, when as independent artists, you're always going to pay for your own record up front.
Right.
And so we did that with the first one. And when you don't get your money back, you kind of say, well, why am I working with somebody who's taking this cut, and then we're not getting, enough back to make the next record? So that was kind of the thought process. And I think, Bill kind of got over his head a little bit. He signed a lot of different artists as well. So, we just didn't have that relationship that we had when we first started. So he wasn't really all that active either. So for us, it was just kind of made sense to, let's just give it a shot and see what happens. And, without that support and that marketing and that family aspect, you really don't achieve as much as you would, even with any independent label. And Bill has just been, great. So I really think that, this time around is going to be a lot different, and we're really excited.
Well, you mentioned CDs and vinyl and everything, the physical product. Are you guys going to have vinyl and that kind of thing available as well?
Well, vinyl is definitely a topic of conversation with Bill. Obviously, we need to get the CDs out first and kind of see how they do, because vinyl is expensive to make, but it is a hot topic right now. Everybody is really wanting to get that vinyl. So I do foresee I do foresee a strong likelihood that vinyl will happen.
What, do you collect vinyl yourself, or?
No, I don't collect vinyl myself. I used to. There used to be this record shop here where I grew up in Marietta, Georgia, and it was just a place to hang out as a kid when I was, this little 17-year-old punk rocker with a 12-inch mohawk and just going in that store, and he had thousands and thousands of milk crates full of vinyl, and it was just fantastic to go in there and just see all kinds of cool stuff. And you take it home, and listening to it was quite a joy. And I went over to a friend's house not too long ago, and it's really an awesome thing to do. Just sit down in the basement, pour a drink and put some vinyl on. It's quite different, and I do miss that. So while I haven't done it recently, I do foresee getting back into that for sure.
Well, being a kid that was into punk music, how did you was it as you got older that you got into hard rock as well, or was it always both?
Well, it was kind of always both. I grew up loving hard rock because I was a kid in the '80s, so Motley Crue and all that stuff was my jam. As I became a teenager and got a little bit more pissed off, that was my punk my punk years. So I got a lot of that influence, and as we get older, I go back to all the old stuff that I missed. Well, I wouldn't say so much miss because, I did have a lot of influence from my father, who loved a lot of the old classic rock, like the Beatles and the Stones and everything like that. So there's a lot of influence in there. To me, if it's good, I'm going to like it.
Well, in your voice, you it's a higher register, but you also hear a lot of that kind of raw, something like Mike Ness kind of sound mixed in there as well. Was that,
yeah.
Where do you think you got, where did your voice start from? Was there a singer that made you want to sing early on?
Well, not really per se. I mean, there's a lot of different singers out there who I admire. I never really tried to be like anybody. First and foremost, I just tried to sing good, because when I first started out, it was like, throwing a cat in a bathtub. And, so once you hear that first recording back, you have to make a decision on what you want to do. Because I was also a rhythm guitar player, and do I want to play guitar, or do I want to sing? And I love being a front man. So there's all kinds of singers that I love. So first and foremost, I just went to go learn how to sing, and whatever came out, came out. So it was just trying to learn pitch and techniques, and my tone was my tone, and so I don't really have anybody that is a major influence on me that I can say.
Is that something that you do you continually work on your voice, or is it always where it should be?
No, absolutely. You have to work on your voice all the time, because, especially as we gear up and go play shows, because if you're doing multiple nights in a row, you got to be on your game, and you got to be sounding good and not throwing your voice out. So, I work on my voice quite often, and it's just real simple. I mean, I'll do scales in the car on the way home from work, and or sit around and singing, and I'm always writing songs. So it's, just as long as I'm using it, that muscle, you're going to have a lot of muscle memory. So it's definitely something I always work on.
Do you have a pre-show routine for the live shows or anything?
Not too much. I just tried to more relax. I do a couple exercises just to kind of loosen my chords out, but generally speaking, it's a shot of whiskey right before I go on, so it gets really loosened up right there. So it's so I'm not so tight.
Yeah, I heard an interview with Rob Halford a few years ago where he said all he does is I think it was a shot of something. I think it was whiskey, and that's amazing that guy's voice could do that if that's all he does.
I know, he is amazing. I saw them last year, and it is amazing how well that dude can still sing. Right. So if I can still sing that well when I'm his age, I guess the whiskey works.
Absolutely. Well, I know you guys have a few shows scheduled. Are you looking? I mean, you kind of mentioned hopefully pulling together a tour with your label mates or something. What are you guys looking for in 2020?
That all is going to be done by our label and their team. So they're going to be working on putting those shows together. There's some irons in the fire right now, but I don't really have any exact dates, but there's definitely going to be some touring. So, there's possibly maybe, some stuff up in the Northeast and Midwest. I think that's going to be more our focus because our label's up there in Baltimore and do the Southeast a bit. So, and then hopefully the plan is for maybe next year is to break off and do some European dates. Our label mates, Every Mother's Nightmare, they're already going over there and doing some festivals and things like that. So things are starting to open up. And so, we'll definitely be out there on the road. We just don't have any exact dates yet.
Yeah, I think your guys' sound would go over big in Europe.
Yeah. It's kind of funny because, we did a big tour back in 2010, and this band from Sweden came over, and that was their end all be all. They thought to come to the States and play was their goal achieved, and we're sitting back and like, well, we want to go over there and play.
Right.
So we think that's the cat's pajamas right there. So we definitely want to get over there. It's definitely worked out well for some bands that we know over here. So if we can get in that market, it'd be great. But obviously, we still want to play the U.S. market. That's the bread and butter, and it's real easy to hop around, especially in the Southeast, and you can do a quick weekend run or something like that. So we definitely plan on doing some shows.
Are you guys still based out of Atlanta?
Yep.
Yeah.
Still in Atlanta.
Whenever I think of Atlanta, I think of hip hop. When it comes to rock,
Yeah.
there's stuff from like 20 years ago with Seven Dust or 30 years ago with Black Crowes. Is there a rock scene there at all?
I wouldn't say it's so much of a rock scene unless you want to talk about, tribute bands and cover bands. But there's definitely a metal scene here. That's kind of the big thing that draws around here. So, we'll still get decent crowds around here. But, we want to focus on breaking out from Atlanta because most of the rock clubs around here have closed down in the recent years. So there's not as much availability to play. Rock has not been great unless you're a really established band. And then, people will still go out. Like, Michael Schenker just came a few months ago and the place was sold out, so, and it was it was almost a theater size. So, people want to go out and see it. It's just, they got to know about it.
Right. All right, man. Well, thanks for taking the time to do this with me.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
There you go, Joe Flynt of Asphalt Valentine. A huge thank you to Jody Best of Best Bet Promotions for her continued support of this podcast.
Definitely. She rocks. We couldn't do this without her.
Yeah, that's true. We love her. And thank you, of course, to Joe Flynt for taking the time out to talk to, I almost said us, but it was me. You couldn't make it that day, and glad I got to talk to Joe there for a bit. And
right, I'm glad you got to do it. Things are things. These things happen.
Yeah. Hey, we've done 254 episodes now, and that's probably the fourth or fifth one.
Yeah, we get it done how we can get it done. It's all good.
Yeah, literally, I think that's probably the fourth that we've ever done where it wasn't both of us.
Yeah.
Let's count them down real quick. We got Night Demon.
Where
was you with JP. And then we've got Vivian Campbell, where it was me.
Yep.
And then we've got Don Jameson, which was just
me.
You. And then we've got Dizzy Reed, which was just me.
And then
this. So,
but hey,
number 5.
I'll get Night Demon again without you.
That's right,
because in a couple months
they'll be here in April when I'll be out of town. So,
but there's no way we're not getting them on the podcast.
Yeah, that's a must. Anytime they're in the vicinity of us, we've got to talk to them once again.
And that's one of the not to be name droppers, that kind of vibe, but that's one band that, you know, they're pals. So, that's always good to have them on. It's going to be fun.
Yeah. Because it's not just like you're asking stock questions to try to like talk about an album, which we do with them at the same time. But at the same time, it's like you said,
Yeah.
you know them now. So it's just sitting around and bullshit.
It's loose, casual. You can bullshit.
Yeah.
You know what each other likes and doesn't like. So there's always good starting points.
Yeah.
It's a good time.
Yeah. And like one of our, I can say this on here, I guess. I don't think we've ever said it on the podcast, but like, we had this like long-standing thing since the first time we had Night Demon on that we thought when they're in Tulsa one time, we need to try to set it up where we can have Dusty, the drummer, on at the same time with Jason Gilardi.
Yeah.
Formerly of Caroline Spine, because he talked to us that first time we talked to him about how much he loved him and that he was an influence on him and all this stuff. And we're like, that'd be perfect if we could just get the two of them together. But
yeah.
Hopefully one of these days.
One of these days, the schedules will line up.
But yeah. Speaking of, Jason Gilardi was on this podcast a long-ass time ago.
Yes, he was.
It was a really good one. And if you're a fan of Asphalt Valentine style music, Junkyard, I think, has they kind of have a Junkyard vibe at times. Check that out. We've had on Junkyard, we've had on Kicks, we've had on Kiss, Gene Simmons and Bruce Kulick. We've had on, like I mentioned, Dizzy Reed of Guns N' Roses, Vivian Campbell of Def Leppard, bands like Warrant, Trickster, Firehouse, Slaughter, Lillian Axe, Europe, Dokken, Tesla. Frank Hannon's been on here a couple of times now.
Recently, even.
Yeah, just here a few episodes ago.
But we've also had, like, you know, heavy stuff. We talked about Crowbar earlier. Kirk Winstein's been on here twice.
Right.
Crowbar once. You know, we got the whole band in on it once.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, so, I mean, Seven Dust. We've had dudes from Megadeth, Act of Defiance, you know, COC, Clutch. You know, we've had some pretty cool shit, man.
Yeah, one we don't mention, the other day I heard him and I thought, we don't mention this enough when we're rattling off names, is Avatar.
Right? Yeah, we had Avatar. Holy fuck, how do we forget that? That was a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Prong. Recently we had on, you know, this past few months we had on members of both Life of Agony and Typo Negative, which were huge fans of both those bands.
Yeah.
So that was quite an honor.
Yeah, that was a choke up moment.
Yeah, something that we never really thought might happen, and very glad it did.
Which, by the way, I just recently got Life of Agony's Ugly on vinyl.
That's right. Your better half got you that for Valentine's Day,
yes,
right?
My amazing, gorgeous, fucking kick-ass better half, Melissa, got me Life of Agony's Ugly on vinyl.
That's amazing.
And yeah, it was as giddy as a schoolgirl. And it was great. It was great. I cranked it way the fuck up.
Was it like a old school used one, or is it new?
No, it's a new one.
Okay,
I
didn't know. I didn't know that it was out where you could just buy it.
I don't know.
Oh,
you know, that was that era of music where nothing really. You know, they didn't do vinyl on anything.
Yeah, so it's probably like
so I'm sure
a
it's just
a
reissue from the past few years that they just took from the CD, but I don't give a fuck. It was on vinyl, so
yeah.
For me, it was great.
Yeah. All that great stuff. And hey, speaking of vinyl in this interview, which you haven't heard yet, that I just did with Joe Flynt, we talked about vinyl a little bit, so.
Nice.
There you go.
That's awesome.
It all ties in together.
Love it.
But yeah, so just dig back through our stuff if you want to check out some previous episodes. It's all on our website, thethunderunderground.com. You can listen to it there, or you can listen to it most places that you can stream podcasts like SoundCloud, Google Music, iTunes, TuneIn, Stitcher, Mixcloud, Pocket Cast, all that great stuff. Follow us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. Follow us on Instagram. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Just had a thing that would have came out probably if you're hearing this now, probably yesterday, of the brand new album from Demons and Wizards, which comes out February 21st, Friday here. And we should have more stuff coming soon as well on that front. And there's a ton to dig through as well if you haven't. Yeah,
we've got a really cool one that we're working on for this week, so that'll be awesome.
Yeah, here in the next week or so, actually February 28th is, I think, the day we can release that. is what
Nice.
the actual rules.
Okay, okay.
For an album that comes out in April, so that's pretty cool. A pretty good jump on that.
Oh, well, I was just talking about an interview, but now I know what you're talking about.
Well, I was talking about Body Count. The brand new
I
album.
wasn't, so
Okay.
fuck me. My brain was way off.
So now I know what you're talking about. Cool. Yeah. All right. But okay, yeah. Now we're getting all mixed up and shit, so we should get out of here.
Yeah, it's time to go.
All right. Once again, thank you to Best Bet Promotions, MedFarm, DEB Concerts, and of course Joe Flynt from Asphalt Valentine. And until next time.
Thunder Underground, y'all.